So that's what it looks like, packed and ready to go camping this year. First sidecar camping trip. Anyway, bye-bye, Gunner. I'll see you on Sunday, okay? You take care, Guns. Hello, my name is Roy. I'll be the captain on your journey today. Our trip actually began yesterday, leaving from Los Gatos, California, but I did not bother to video the trip up I-5, which was a pleasant enough trip as it were. We went as far as Red Bluff. So this video begins shortly after leaving Red Bluff. I cut out a little section at the beginning where I was experimenting with a microphone adapter that I had, and I didn't like the results. I just don't have anything to say while I'm writing. It's mostly just, perhaps I'll never be a real video Moto V blogger, because I don't got anything to say anyway. But so go ahead and enjoy the video. This is the first part of a video. We're going to go camping up at Lassen, and the road is interesting from Red Bluff up to Shingletown, because I like to take what I call the Shingletown cutoff through Manton, and so that's just something that I've always done from when I used to work up there. So enjoy it. Thank you for watching, and give me a like and a subscribe if you would. I think when you see the burned patches on the side of the road, those are controlled burns that have been done, but I'm not certain about that, but I'm pretty sure. Anyway, it's kind of an ugly scar on the side of the road, and now we're out of that area anyway, so belated comment on my part. And if you haven't noticed, I'm doing some voiceover after the fact, because as I pointed out, I don't really have anything to say while I'm actually writing. I've tried to do that, but nothing comes to mind. I like to be pretty mentally clear, I guess. I do have a lot of comments about riding Sidecar, and I will try to make some of those later when the road is more twisty, which it gets towards the end, especially when you climb the escarpment up to the Shingletown Plateau. Thank you. it's a lot of fun. Even though it's been about 10 years since I've driven this, I know exactly what's coming up. I know I got to turn left up ahead. That's the road that I need to take. I got to turn left, otherwise I'm going to go to Chester. So I need to go to Shingletown. So that's when you turn left. And it's coming up, no big deal. But people have had, there have been a lot of accidents there. There's no gas along the way here. So when you're riding Sidecar, that's certainly a consideration. I have become, checking my my trip odometer. I use as my gas tank gauge. So that's basically my religion. Here we go. We're going to turn left. We're going to go to Shingletown. Some motorcycles parked there. So Casey and I have been riding Sidecar now for about 3 years, and we've got about maybe, I guess, somewhere between 12,000 maybe and 14,000 miles down now. I guess that rates me as being at least competent. I haven't crashed yet. I don't know about other people that ride Sidecar, but if you ride the rig like mine, I consider every ride that I come home without any kind of real puckering event to be a successful ride. And I didn't have any of those events on this whole camping trip, so that was a wonderful thing. It has occurred to me that I could make some videos where I would tell people, gee, how to ride a Sidecar, right? The thing is, I'm not sure I know. And in any event, all I can tell you is how to ride my Sidecar, because it's going to be different from many others. I don't have leading link front suspension or an Earl's fork or anything like that. I just got big wide bars. So my bike, riding my Sidecar, is like going to the gym all day and wrestling with weights, it's just your hands and your shoulders. I've learned to like it, and you can't tell I'm riding straight right here, but I'm working to ride straight. You don't see me very comfortably never take my hand off the throttle anyway. You know, pretty much that's almost never happened. Once in a while I'll take my left hand off, because I can certainly ride one-handed. I still lean out over the Sidecar as best I can when in right-hand turns, even if I know I've got tolerance for it. Because to me, in the real world, this is not a stunt. On my bike, when I lose contact with the world on the right-hand side, I've got a problem. That's a mistake I've made. I've overheated a turn. I've done something wrong. I know this road somehow. You know, I've been riding or driving more properly this road going back to my youth. So it goes back more decades than I want to put on. So I know when some of these big turns are coming up and the dip into where there's going to be a bridge over a creek, and I know where all the turns are. So it's kind of fun, and it's reminiscent for me, and the countryside is beautiful. And so I should probably properly cut out some of this video. It's already 42 minutes long, but probably I won't. So there are some things I can do when I'm riding that on this Sidecar that I very slowly learned to do. When I use the brakes, actually more often, put it more generally, anytime you're slowing down, the old rig yaws to the left. It turns to the left, sometimes very abruptly. That means you're turning across a double yellow line into oncoming traffic, which means you need to know what you're doing when you're riding the darn thing so that doesn't happen. And so for me now, that doesn't happen. And there are some points, those you'll see, where I don't overheat the turn. Instead, I have some pretty hard braking going into the turn, and it's a little laughable because I just want to make sure that I'm gonna make that turn. That happens more inside Lassen Park later on one of the other videos than it does going. I don't think there's an event like that going to Shingletown. So one of the things I've learned to do is trail brake with the Sidecar. But in addition to that, obviously when I use the front brake, I get the strongest braking power, which means I have the strongest amount of yaw. Which means that if I hold the throttle open using my index finger and my thumb, then I can reach forward with another finger and start tugging on the front brake. And without using my arms to turn the bars at all, I just start giving the front brake little tugs, and the yaw just brings the whole rig around into the left-hand turn. And that's one of the things I learned to do. And is that something anybody else should do? I don't know. You know, that's up to them. And same thing for driving around the car. You know, I'm usually hammering the rear brake a little, but I got to be in the right gear. And there's, you know, you got to be entering at the right speed. It's got to be the right kind of turn. There's just so many factors involved. But enough said. Hope you enjoy the video. I'll talk some more about riding sidecar when we get up into the twisty bits. So one of the things I learned in Sidecar after I got my CarPlay device, so I've got a map, and I hate it when I lose my maps, which I sometimes occasionally do, very rarely, but I'm watching these curves. I know what sort of curve is coming up, how fast I can take that curve. I'm relying on the map. I don't know if there's debris in the road, and there was a scary incident that actually did happen on the way back. The debris wasn't in my lane, it was in somebody else's lane, but I was ever so happy it had not been in my lane because it turned out to be a big stainless steel sink. And the other cars were going around it, and I didn't have to go around anything. I don't know if I'd wanted to because we were on Highway 44, I guess, and it was pretty fast road. And it come around a curve. I had a warning through Waze. There was an object in the road, and I kind of ignored the warning and come around the corner, and it was not in my lane, thank God. But everything was okay. So I sped this up slightly just so that you could get through this and still get to the twisty bits without the video taking forever. So we are just about to come into Manton, and I looked it up. They actually, this road it's called Manton Road, but it also is California A6 or County A6, I guess. I think we're in either Butte or Tehama County here. I should have looked that up before I spoke. But we're going to come through this little town, and I'm going to take another left, and then we're going to hit the twisties going up towards Shingletown. Don't know if you can see it quite yet, but you're going to be able to see it in the distance. A sharp rise, a scarp that we're going to climb. nice little building on the left with the potted plants is the Manton Post Office. I always thought that was very cute. They have a pretty substantial post office, or used to. Then we're going to turn left up ahead at a place that at one point in time did pump gas here, but that was a long time ago. I remember getting gas there. And we're off to the races. Looking back on it now, I realize this is actually, for me, the best kind of, sidecar road. This is what I want to do. This is so much fun, especially with Casey next to me. It's slow enough, he's got his head out the car, over 30 miles an hour, he goes back behind the windshield. He loves it, but it's not the same thing. He doesn't get the same experience. He's got his goggles on and all that. But it's a nice slow road most of the way, and climbing and technical and interesting the entire way. Just ahead is a left turn I know I need to make in order to go up to Shingletown. I don't actually know where the road goes to the right if I go on to the right. Kind of interesting about that. In all these years I never went to the right. I always go to the left. I wonder what would have happened to me if I'd gone to the right. There's water in it. I was at a motorcycle rally over the weekend, and several people asked me, how do you turn? How do you turn a sidecar? And they were kind of making like tip over kind of motions with their hands. And I was thinking about it later. When how you turn a sidecar, of course, depends on the context. But if you watch how I'm riding on the rest of the way up to Shingletown, I think what you'll see is that it is a blend, a combination of using the throttle and the brakes, the front and rear brake. The brakes have a lot to do with how you're going to turn a motorcycle. Now I don't just mean slowing down. Since you have asymmetric braking, you can use that to your advantage as you go into turns. I have a little bit of front brake on this turn. Took me right through it. And with no effort at all. Then again, you're constantly counterbalancing the mass and the frontal area, basically, of the sidecar, and with this rig anyway, in both hands. So there's always a pull to the right that's evident to me while I'm riding everywhere. Like riding straight down the highway, you'll see me riding straight, but the car is pulling to the right. And I guess maybe that could be somewhat fine-tuned out, but when you do that, something else has changed. So I'm going to mostly probably leave it the way it is. The other thing you might notice, generally you can't see it in the videos, is there's different hand positions that you also use in order to hold onto the throttle, for example, and use other fingers to control the front brake while you're also on the throttle. And also on the left-hand side, where you generally can't see, like right now, I've got my palm against the bar, pushing as hard as I can to get through the turn. So in that case, it's a handlebar turn, if you will, coupled with some front brake. Everything's combined. All of these things are merged together simultaneously while I'm riding, and so there isn't one way in which you're turning. If you see me in a parking lot and you see me just turning around, I'm probably using the bars. I might also possibly have a little rear brake on, but a lot of it's kind of finesse. And when you take off from a start, and you're also going to be turning at the same time, I do quite a bit of clutch slippage. I find when I'm doing that, I really feather the clutch out while I'm taking off in it. Otherwise, it can be very jerky because you have to push so hard with your right hand against the bar. At the same time, you're trying to release the clutch with the other hand and handle whatever braking you're doing with the right hand. And yet you're fighting the mass of the car with your hands. And by now I've made it sound really uncomfortable, but actually I'm also so used to it now that it's just what I do, and it doesn't feel uncomfortable to me. It can be tiring after a 6-hour day, but it's not really ever uncomfortable. I will say one thing: only riding up to Lassen on this trip did I ever get blisters on my hands from riding a motorcycle. topped out here. The type of trees are slowly going to be changing now from the oak and madrone that you're seeing to pine trees, and then exclusively fir and cedar. And we'll be up at Shingletown in a few minutes. And in really my element from Shingletown onward to Lassen is a separate video. I just find the country breathtaking. I love it so much. I've been up there most of my life. Even though I've always lived in the Bay Area formally, I've always gone there. I've been there since I was a child. I had all my life experiences up there. I just love this area. I just love it. And I hope the video gives you a chance to see some of the area, especially the next video, Shingletown to Lassen. So watch for that one coming up soon.